thunder with them as well as strong wind gusts capable of wind damage. Let's zoom in right now and get a closer look at who is involved exactly in Burlington County with this tornado warning. So this was just issued moments ago. So we're looking at these communities right here that are in that tornado warning box. And as time goes on, this storm is going to track more eastward into the communities you're seeing right there. What we're going to do now together is examine the strength of this storm. We're going to put on Doppler radar to give you a picture of this storm. So lots of heavy rain. If there were a tornado, it would be right there. You see that little spot right there, little notch? It'd be right there, and potentially even some rain getting wrapped into that. In fact, let's take a look real quick at velocity. Velocity is a tool that we use as meteorologists. It's the wind mode of Doppler radar. And what we look for is actually this sort of situation right here where the greens butt up against the reds. Here's what's going on. Reds is stuff like rain moving away from the radar. Greens is things moving toward the radar. And then what that tells you is rotation. So reds going away, greens coming in. That gives you that little spin of a tornado. So right here, right now is a concern for the tornado. What I'm going to do right now with this different mode of Doppler radar is I'm going to take you into street level because we have the potential to go street level. So right now, if there is a tornado with this storm, this is exactly where it is in Burlington County. We're looking at a couple of these roads. New Lisbon Road is the issue right there by that community, as we'll widen things out by New Lisbon. And these communities right here, Lower Mill and into Browns Mills, this is where this potential tornado would be tracking in. So right now, the tornado, if it's on the ground, is by Stockton Bridge Road. And into these communities that we're showing you right here, super zoomed in, it's where these reds and greens are coming together. This is just a tool to help us as meteorologists determine where a tornado would be. Wind speeds with this would be around 100 miles an hour to about 110 miles an hour from some spin we're seeing in the atmosphere right there. This is the tornado warning that's in Burlington County in effect over the next few minutes to about 1:30. I want to show you exactly what's going on. Let's show you that tornado warning. Here it is. It's different parts of Burlington County. And to give you a feel of these storms, Scott and I have been tracking these storms throughout the afternoon. Scott, do you want to just talk to these storms area-wide while we have that tornado warning right now in Burlington County for those communities we mentioned? Look at all that lightning. That's an insane amount of lightning. You were doing a really impressive job of kind of giving us a feel of how much lightning. And here's just kind of a quick feel of this. This is actually like a 3D tool that's showing us, but just kind of get you a quick feel of what the lightning is. It's just lighting things up, and in addition to that, bringing lots of thunder. And here's the thing, when you hear thunder, that means that storm, that lightning, is within 10 miles of you. So we're going to widen things out and give you a feel of the amount of lightning right now that's showing up with this storm. I mean, just kind of look at this for a second and kind of feel. This is just showing you these are strong storms right now. Scott, do you want to talk about some of the storms we've been seeing throughout the day as well?
Yeah, absolutely, Drew. I mean, of course, we've been looking at this all morning long into the early afternoon time frame, and vivid lightning, as you mentioned, as well as torrential downpours. I mean, rainfall rates anywhere from 2 to 3 inches per hour with this, so blinding rainfall. And we're looking at the potential for that tornado through sections of Burlington County and Ocean County as that cell moves on off to the east. So we're talking about impacts through sections of Ocean County as well as Burlington County with that cell, but rain-wrapped tornado is the potential out of this system. Tornado warning in effect for Burlington and Ocean County until 1:30 with this, and some of the areas in the impact zone potentially here as this moves toward the east. 40 miles per hour, Pemberton area. Of course, we're talking about Lakehurst, Wrightstown, Presidential Lakes, Cedar Glen. You're in the path of this potential tornado. Browns Mills, moving toward the Crestwood Village area. Fort Dix, you're in this path of the potential tornado, as well as McGuire Air Force Base and the New Egypt vicinity. We were looking at Ultimate Doppler prior to this, Drew, and we saw a little bit of a couplet, some rotation that was moving through sections of Burlington County as it continued to move on off to the east. Movement with this cell is off to the east at about, let's see here, 40 miles per hour. So once again, that will put it toward the Woodland area, Red Oak Grove at 118, Manchester 125, 130 around the Lacey area. So this activity continues moving on off to the east at about 40 miles per hour. It kind of developed into a line really from sections of the Lehigh Valley all the way. It moved through Philadelphia about a half hour ago with torrential downpours, some hail reports towards sections of the main line. But look at that line moving through sections of South Jersey. So not only are you looking at the potential for a rain-wrapped tornado through sections of Burlington County and Ocean County, but moving down that AC Expressway, we're looking at blinding rain out of the system with, once again, those rainfall rates 1 to as much as 3 inches per hour. So back in that zone, you can see we're talking about Browns Mills, Presidential Lakes Estates. A lot of this area heavily forested. So we're talking about looking at the areas that receive some of those wildfires as well. So once again, we're looking at some heavy rainfall, beneficial rainfall, but coming at a cost. We have that potential for the tornado until 1:30 for this area as it moves on off to the east at about 30 to 40 miles per hour. So once again, tornado safety. Average tornado wind speed is now up to about 100 miles per hour. Now, 100-mile-per-hour winds can uproot trees.
Yeah, I can jump in on that. I mean, with all this heavy rain, that can really help these big trees just get uprooted. Around here, that's our main concern when we have lower end tornadoes around 100 miles an hour. Get those trees uprooted. In addition to that, another concern is debris in 100-mile-per-hour wind can break windows. So, Scott, you were mentioning about the tornado safety, and that's part of the reason what we do is we talk about that you want to go to your interior rooms because things in 100-mile-per-hour winds can break those windows. So get to the center of your home. If you have a basement, you want to go down there because if a tree gets uprooted, you don't want to be anywhere near the second story. That's one of the main issues we see from lower-end tornadoes around this region. We're here because we have a tornado warning right now for parts of Burlington County. As Scott pointed out, we've had a lot of wildfires there, so they're getting those big-time heavy rainfall rates of 2 to 3 inches an hour. Not a whole lot of population in that region, but if you're in those communities that we mentioned, this is exactly where you want to be. So let's take a look right now and go back to live Doppler radar to show you exactly the concern. We saw on the wind mode of Doppler radar that there was absolutely potential for a tornado right here. It's just crossed out of this community right there, and it's moving its way across eastern parts of Burlington County, soon to be in Ocean County right now. So this is the concern right here, right at that very spot. Scott, let's actually zoom in a little bit more to kind of get a feel of some of the communities, the towns. So Hanover Furnace, if you're around that community, New Hanover, you need to be concerned right now. And in that center portion of your house or in a basement, Hanover Road, Mount Road, Wet Break Road, those communities that we just mentioned out, if these roads sound familiar, this is where the potential tornado is right now in Burlington County, heading farther east in Burlington County, tracking into Ocean County, this tornado warning in effect through 1:30. As we widen things out, we need to point out the potential for wind gusts capable of strong wind damage that rivals tornado speeds. Let's look farther south into Burlington County. Also into these other communities right there as we look into South Jersey. You know, Scott was talking about coming into Atlantic City. You know, a lot of folks right now going down the shore. This line of storms has had a history of hail, incredible amounts of lightning, and on top of all that, anytime you have a line on Doppler radar of strong storms, they have wind gusts capable of wind damage. And the big concern for these severe thunderstorm warnings you see right there is wind damage that rivals tornado strength speed. So in other words, we're talking wind damage of 70 to 90 miles per hour over a much wider area. Everyone right here in Atlantic County, into parts of Cumberland County, and now just exiting Gloucester and Camden County, you still have potential for wind damage that is as strong as a tornado. But we're here right now because of this tornado warning in Burlington County that rolls in to this portion of eastern Burlington County, soon to be in Ocean County. This is a pretty fast-moving storm. You know, a lot of times in the summer we get storms around, say, 30 miles an hour. This one's faster at 40 miles an hour, as you were mentioning, Scott. Scott, what are you seeing back in the Fox 29 Weather Center?
Yeah, just still seeing the potential for either a rain-wrapped tornado or straight-line wind damage really really stretching all the way from Mercer County, where we have the severe thunderstorm warning, all the way back down into sections of South Jersey. So this has had a history, once again, of producing some tree damage, hail damage, a lot of vivid lightning with this as well. I'll put some of the local storm reports in from earlier, and you can see all of those have had a history off to the north and west of some quarter-sized hail, wind gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour, some tree damage reports coming out of the Lancaster County area. But right now we're talking about this particular area. If you live within this box, the red box that is kind of on the border of Burlington County as well as Ocean County, places like Browns Mills, moving toward Presidential Lake Estates. We'll kind of continue to zoom in. Hanover Furnace, Buckingham, Roosevelt City, right there, Highway 70. You know, you can take this to the shore as well. So basically, when you're through Burlington County, right here, you can see this is under the area of that potential tornado warning. You're not going to see it. It'll be rain wrapped if we do have one, because we're talking about rainfall rates anywhere from 1 to 3 inches per hour. There's also been a very significant amount of lightning within this box. This is what we were talking about earlier, Drew. You can see almost 700 lightning strikes. So we have multiple dangers and threats. We have the lightning. We have the winds in excess of 60 miles per hour. We have the hail. We also have the torrential downpours. Ponding on the roadway is highly likely, and also on the ground. I mean, the ground is pretty much like concrete in many areas. I mean, my grass is pretty much like brown from the lack of rainfall. This is too much of a good thing too fast. You get that runoff. The water can't really soak in when you get it too fast with the rainfall rates that we're getting across the area. But once again, we are focused in through sections of Burlington County and Ocean County until 1:30. That's the latest tornado warned area. Kind of heavily forested area, but nonetheless, we are still talking about the potential for that tornado as you kind of zoom back into the Country Lake Estates area, Crestwood Village. This does include the Pemberton area, McGuire Air Force Base, Fort Dix, in this vicinity through sections of Burlington County, Ocean County. Highway 70 goes through here as well, and a lot of folks take that to go to the beaches there in Ocean County at the shore.
So let's take a look at the wind mode of Doppler radar. It's another one of these ways we judge the strength. This is actually getting tough when you get close to the radar. You lose some of kind of the HD nature of the radar. So we're running into that a little bit right there. But this area right there is that concern. If there was a tornado on the ground for, say, around 100 miles per hour wind speed, it's just about to come into Ocean County right now. And as you were mentioning, Scott, it's right over one of those alternate routes you can take down to the shore at this very moment. And this is not only the issue right now that we need to bring up. The National Weather Service just sent over a note. We're in contact right now with the National Weather Service about the potential for these straight line wind gusts that you were talking about. When you see a line of storms like that on Doppler radar, that just has the potential of strong wind gusts. And in particular in Burlington County, the National Weather Service said, hey, even spots outside the tornado warning. So we're talking these communities right there. As we zoom farther south, south of Woodland, and even a little bit deeper into parts of Burlington County, you have potential for wind gust speeds that rival tornado strength that can cause tornado damage, also uproot trees in these communities. Now, I know that a good portion of Burlington County is very farmy, rural, but still, if you're in this region, you need to pay particular attention to not only the Fox 29 weather app, but also you want to keep an eye out for just staying away from the windows. You don't want to be near the windows because debris can just come in and break windows, even in the straight line wind damage. The tornado warning itself is farther north in Burlington County, and that's about to go into Ocean County if there is a tornado. In addition to Burlington County, these storms are extremely strong as we look farther south. They're heading down the shore right now. Here's a look at Doppler radar. We're looping it over the last hour as these just run and race along. So they're just leaving parts of Cumberland County, sliding into Cape May County, sliding into Atlantic County. This is the area that has a record of hail. We also have that record of tons of lightning. The rain is just insane. If you're on the roads, that's one of those situations where you can't even see because it's coming down so fast. And anywhere right here in Atlantic County and into Cape May County and exiting parts, so we're talking eastern parts of Cumberland County, any of you have the potential for wind gusts capable of wind damage, in addition to the reason why we're here right now, which is that tornado warning that is in effect until 1:30 p.m. for parts of Burlington County and into Ocean County. So that's this region right here that we've been chatting about. And Scott, you brought up a great point about the rain. You were chatting about these big, strong rainfall rates, and I understand the National Weather Service is starting to put out flash flood warnings and flood advisories, because when you have that kind of rain dumped so fast, not only does it really not have any time to seep into the ground at first, but on those low spots on roads, there's nowhere to go, and it just goes there and it collects. So there is reports of some flash flooding on some of the low spots on roads and roads without storm drains, where we've been seeing those storms exit in parts of South Jersey. So we're talking parts of Salem County, parts of also Gloucester County, and even Camden County. What are you seeing, Scott?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, too much of a good thing. Of course, we need the rainfall, parts of the area, and a moderate drought effective just yesterday when we got the new latest drought monitor out. But of course, we're looking at those intense rainfall rates with this squall line that kind of developed late this morning into the afternoon. Of course, we have an active tornado warning ongoing for Burlington County, Ocean County, until about 1:30, but this same line had a history of several tornado warnings through Chester County, Delaware County, Montgomery County, and sections of the main line. No reports from that, but nonetheless, we are watching it as it continues to move from west to east, 30 to 40 miles per hour. You put some of those rainfall rates on there, Drew, and you can see we're talking about over 2 inches per hour. So that is just blinding rainfall, making it difficult to drive, difficult to get around. So just wait these storms out. Severe thunderstorm warning in effect until about 1:30, in addition to that tornado warning that we have. But really, this entire line, folks should treat as a tornado warning, because it's capable of producing those straight line winds that can gust up to 70, 80 miles per hour, causing just as much damage as you would get from a low-end EF0 or EF1 tornado. So impressive rainfall rates. It will be rain wrapped, but we do have some aerial flood advisories posted now around the Philadelphia area, the I-95 corridor, from that intense rainfall that moved through about a half hour to an hour ago. So flash flood warning still in effect until 5 o'clock for sections of Philadelphia County as well as Bucks County. That's because we've seen about 2 inches of rain in that short amount of time, and there's nowhere for it really to go but to run off, cause problems, cause ponding on the roadways. And of course, with the dry conditions as of late, just that little thin film can be on the roadways when you have some of that grease and oil, and that can cause for folks to hydroplane.
Yeah, and you know, let's point this out, Scott. So this portion of Philadelphia into Bucks County that includes that flash flood warning is, look, 95, and even the alternate to get around those issues on 95, 1. So there is some flash flooding reports right now on the roads in Philadelphia and in parts of Bucks County right now. So we're going to keep an eye on that over the next couple hours. The whole reason we're here is because we have a tornado warning right now. Where the tornado would be, it's actually at this point just leaving just leaving Burlington County, coming to Ocean County. One note I want to point out, just moments ago, the National Weather Service has extended the severe thunderstorm warning to include the rest of Atlantic County and into more spots of Cape May County. So that's everywhere here you see showing up right there in orange. And you brought up such a great point, Scott. You need to treat this region right here also as a tornado warning. So in other words, you need to get away from windows and get to the center of your home. Why? The wind gusts with these storms, with this line right here that is moving through that region. Let me show you on live Doppler radar what it looks like. Look at all that lightning again. This right here has the potential for wind gusts of 70, 80, 90 miles an hour that can rival tornado speeds. Those are tornado speeds, so we can have tornado-like wind damage right here in southern Burlington County into Atlantic County as this continues to move and head down the shore. The strongest part of the storm is just leaving Cumberland County right now, coming into Cape May County. This is an issue for the next half hour if you're in Atlantic County and Cape May County, and in extreme southern parts of Burlington County and pretty far south in Ocean County. In addition to those wind gusts capable of tornado-like damage, there's lots of lightning. That rain, as you were talking about, we were looking at those rainfall rates of 2 to 3 inches. Well, it's moving about 40 miles an hour. Cut those numbers in half. You're getting, just like that, a quick 1.5 to 2 inches of rain easy. You know, it 1-2 inches in a matter of about 20 to 30 minutes. That's going to cause flash flooding in a lot of spots, particularly on those low spots on the roads from this line right here. As folks are moving toward the shore, they're going to get some downpours on that. What are you seeing back in the Fox 29 Weather Center, Scott?
Really just more of the same as we watch this nasty, severe squall line, as you mentioned, just really moving from west to east. So this is going to clear the coast by about, I'd say, 2 p.m. with those severe thunderstorm warnings at the shore points. And we're talking about the downpours, the lightning, the hail, and we still have that tornado warning for another 10 minutes or so through sections of Ocean and Burlington County. And that is the concern here for maybe a rain-wrapped quick spin up. You wouldn't be able to see it because those rainfall rates are 2 to 3 inches per hour. And we need the rainfall, but it is coming at a cost, coming a little too fast, so a little too much of a good thing, if you will. But you put a tracker on there. We're talking about areas like lower New Jersey, 124, 132, Egg Harbor, 140, Stafford, Ventnor City, 149. Just within the hour there, we're talking about Atlantic City, 153, so close to 2 p.m. as this line clears the coast. It's Father's Day weekend. A lot of folks are maybe doing some shopping for fathers and maybe headed out of town. A lot of schools are out because it's summer vacation and folks are making plans. Just wait these storms out as they continue to push to the east at about 30 to 40 miles per hour. So once again, that tornado warning remains in effect until 1:30. Northwestern Ocean County now and northeastern Burlington counties. Okay, now they've cleared Burlington County, and now it is just for mainly sections of Ocean County. So Burlington County, you're pretty much in the clear, but we are watching sections of
it's not a whole lot there, I have to tell you.
Yeah,
there's rural communities here. So, I mean, this is the region I'm zooming into right now of where there is concern for the potential of a tornado. These communities right here in the western part of Ocean County right now is where we have the tornado warning. So to give you a feel for what's happening, I want to loop this because, as you were mentioning, Scott, this is moving pretty fast. So this area right here is just sliding across, and one of the things we're going to put on is the wind mode of Doppler radar, so we kind of look at different strengths. And, you know, I was mentioning this earlier, right when you buy the radar, you kind of lose some of the quality, so it's tough for us to analyze some of that, but it just goes like this. If you're in Ocean County, so in other words, if you're about 20 minutes, say, to the west of Toms River, you need to be concerned for a possible tornado right now. In fact, let's talk about some of our tornado safety tips. What you want to do if you're, say, about 20 minutes west of that area, here's what you want to do. Go to the basement if you got one. If you don't want, go to the center of your room. Here's why. When we have tornadoes, a lot of times the wind speeds is around 100 miles an hour. Debris in that can break windows. Also, it's kind of hard to believe, but 100 mile per wind, it can actually uproot trees. When you get winds stronger than 100, that's when it actually chews trees into like wood chips. But 100 mile per hour winds are very effective at uprooting trees, particularly when we have this amount of heavy rain. So that's part of the reason why you want to get into the center of your home and off that second story is because there's potential for, if you have a large tree, say, in your community about 20 minutes west of Toms River, for that falling on your home. So that's to give you a feel of where you want to be. The main concern is just to get away from those windows, get off of that second story. Ideally, if you can, go to a basement. The tornado warning right now is in Ocean County. That's what we want to give you that heads up about, where we have wind speeds, if there is potentially a tornado, around 100 miles an hour right up there. Now, the other big concern is everywhere you see in orange is a severe thunderstorm warning. That's going to continue for about the next 30 minutes or so, particularly in Atlantic County, this northern portion of Cape May County, and the strongest storms are actually just exiting Cumberland County right now. These have wind speeds that have the potential to rival tornado speed winds. There's wind gusts without question that are producing damage because when you get that line, in fact, what we'll do is we're going to pop in and give you a little feel for that line that's showing up on Doppler radar. I mean, gosh, just look at all that lightning. You know, anytime you see that amount of lightning right there, it just kind of takes my breath away to see 600 lightning strikes in this region of South Jersey alone. You are hearing these storms. Lightning is an indicator for how strong storms are. When we have that much lightning, that means that's a ferocious storm, which means it has strong wind gusts capable of that wind damage of amounts typically higher than the wind damage we would see with, say, just a traditional thunderstorm in this region. So that right there, kind of in that box, in these portions of Atlantic County. We'll kind of zoom in and get you a little feel for where it's heading. So right now it's in Mays Landing, heading toward Egg Harbor, heading toward Pleasantville, and also it's heading towards some of these other communities in South Jersey right now. That's where there's potential for wind speeds causing this straight line wind damage, which means it just blows everything in its path in a straight line with wind speeds that can rival those tornado wind speeds of 70, 80, 90 miles an hour. So this right here, if you're in these counties, in Atlantic County, into Cape May County, I would take this as serious as a tornado. Stay away from the windows, get to the center of your home. If you got a basement, get down there too, because these are nasty, strong storms as indicated by the lightning. In addition, these storms have had reports of hail, so I can tell you there's some small hail right there in northern Cape May County, in this community right there. Scott's tracking for us a little history of the hail, and one of the things that we are noticing is, look how we're seeing less of these gray colors. That means the hail potential is leaving. Purples on radar is definitely an indicator that hail is falling. We're not seeing the purples, we're seeing kind of the color right underneath that. So that means the hail potential is getting less, but the wind potential is certainly still going strong. Scott, your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this has had a history of producing some hail, but you can see that continues to diminish with the trend. But the wind, that is still really the calling card of this storm system today, that along with the heavy rain and the lightning. And we still have plenty of lightning, as you mentioned. Take a look here within this box here. We're talking about almost 700 lightning strikes, and lightning is deadly. Lightning can kill. So when you hear thunder, when thunder roars, head indoors. If you can hear thunder, you can be struck by lightning. So this is a system that is very electrified, if you will. A lot of energy taking place with this thunderstorm complex that's moving through. Not only do we have the potential for that rain-wrapped tornado through sections of Ocean County right now with that active tornado warning for about 5 more minutes, but all of this lightning, all of this heavy rainfall. So it really is more than a 1-2 punch with this system. I mean, it's really a trifecta when you talk about the lightning, the heavy rain, and also those gusty winds. So we'll zoom back in to this tornado warned area. Not a highly populated area, but nonetheless, Route 70 cuts right through here, and a lot of folks take this as a back way to go to some of the shore points. And we're talking about some of the areas here in this box: Roosevelt City, Buckingham. Also, as we kind of zoom in a little closer here, you can see just a kind of heavily forested area. But nonetheless, you're not going to see a tornado and all of that with rainfall rates 2 to 3 inches per hour. So that is the concern. But pretty much this entire line, we have the potential for those gusts 70 to 80 miles per hour as it just continues to kind of plow across the Garden State. So the Garden State Parkway, the Atlantic City Expressway, we're talking about torrential, blinding rainfall on the move, as well as those gusty winds. So making it hazardous to drive, hazardous to even cross bridges, gripping that steering wheel, because the wind is going to be even stronger on some of those bridges down the shore.
Yeah, and that's because the higher up you are, the stronger the wind. So you're getting higher up on those bridges, and just having that open air, there's nothing kind of slow down the wind. So that's a concern going down the shore. You brought up a great point. We're getting that torrential rain. We're having about an inch to about 2 inches of rain falling. So there's some ponding on the road. So we're getting some flash flood warnings. This is a live look right now in Ocean City. Speak of those winds, look at that on the flag right there. So the storms have not arrived just yet. They're on the way to Ocean City and the rest of the shore right now. But that gives you a feel for how strong the winds are now. Think about once those ferocious storms get there, the winds that'll just drop out. So things are really starting to get churned up there as we look farther to the east in that picture, as these storms roll in from the west, heading down to Atlantic City, Ocean City, and also parts of Cape May. So this right here, this whole line right there that we're seeing come into the region, has the potential for wind gust damage that can rival tornado speeds. We're here because of this tornado warning that is now just solely in this section of Ocean County, in effect for another couple minutes. But any of those regions we just chatted about, let's see one of the latest updates right here. So, okay, in that community right there. Okay, so an emergency management official saw a funnel cloud, and I'm not surprised. When we first came on with this tornado warning on that wind mode of Doppler radar, it was an indication to us that there was likely a tornado on the ground, at least at this point. This was a little bit earlier ago. This was when that portion was in a different community. Yeah, Pemberton right there. So this storm has had that potential of a funnel cloud. Now that I see it, it looks like it's bowing out. At this point, I would say the tornado risk is not really there so much anymore, and it's more of a risk for straight line wind damage because it's really kind of doing that little sort of bow. Like, think of it like a bow and arrow. So that indicates to us that there's wind gusts that are capable of wind damage for sure in that tornado warning region, but anywhere with this line you have wind gusts capable of wind damage. Also, with that heavy rain, we have reports of flash flooding in parts of Philadelphia and into Bucks County, these greens you see right there. That also includes parts of Camden County, Gloucester County, the Salem County, Delaware County, Newcastle County, where we had like that, about 1.5 to 2 inches of rain just dumped from these storms. There will be more flash flood warnings in this portion of South Jersey, Atlantic County into Cape May County over the next, say, half hour because of all this rain. You know, it drops, has nowhere to go with, there's no storm drains on some of the roads. The ground's been so dry. When the ground's really dry, it actually acts like concrete at first, so the rain just runs off. It takes like 20 minutes for rain to seep in really dry ground. Let's take you to another one of our sky cams. This is LBI, Long Beach Island. We're getting a live picture right there. We're looking off the sea. We're looking west. The storms are coming in. Or actually, I'm sorry, we're looking east right there. The storms are coming in from the west to give you a feel. So things are just kind of getting started down the shore as that line of strong storms leaves portions of South Jersey, more so around Gloucester County and Cumberland County, and moves into Atlantic County and Cape May County. All right, so we just got the update. There's no longer tornado warning. It did look to us that it was weakening. At this point, it's just a concern for straight line wind damage at Ocean County, which can still rival tornado speeds. I mean, this is really nasty right there. This little bow, this kind of a backward C shape right there, that just means there's wind gusts easily over 70 miles an hour. But this whole line right there that's moving across Atlantic County and Cape May County, that right there has wind gust potential capable of causing wind damage. Lots of lightning with this and heavy rain. Scott, your final thoughts?
Download the Fox 29 Weather Authority app. Let these clear the coast over the next half hour or so. Severe thunderstorm warning still in effect until 2:15 as these move to the shore point. So once again, if you are down the shore, you will want to get off of the beach. That's because we're dealing with a lot